First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. I want to talk about two fighters that really need each other right now. Two fighters that can take advantage of the opportunity of facing off with each other very soon, somewhere down the road this year, 2024. I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson. We already know that Shakur Stevenson recently announced his retirement, but we also know, for the most part, when fighters announce their retirement early in their career, it usually doesn't last that long. So with that being said, Shakur Stevenson is a fighter that was generating a lot of buzz going into his previous fight with Edwin De Los Santos. Shakur Stevenson was starting to adapt the Puerto Rican fan base due to Shakur Stevenson being half Puerto Rican, right? And since the De Los Santos performance, his stock kind of went down. Even though Shakur Stevenson became a 3-division world champion, his stock dropped. He was on a possible collision course with Gervonta Davis, probably even a Devin Haney. But after that performance, detractors are going to look at Shakur Stevenson as a fighter that's not exciting. Now, I know for a fact that Shakur Stevenson is an exciting fighter when he's 100%. Now, we're not going to talk about injuries and all that. What I will say is that Shakur Stevenson is a lot better than what he showed against Edwin De Los Santos. Shakur Stevenson is a fighter that is finding it extremely difficult to land the dance partner. He tried to get a fight with Devin Haney. Unfortunately, Devin Haney sent him a low offer. He tried to land a fight with George Kambosos Jr. George Kambosos Jr. decided to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. Shakur Stevenson tried to land a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. Lomachenko chose George Kambosos Jr. Shakur Stevenson tried to land a fight with Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz decided to wait and hopefully land a Gervonta Davis fight. And now Isaac is about to fight Rolly Romero. Shakur Stevenson tried to get a fight with Frank Martin. It's looking like Frank Martin may be a potential opponent for Gervonta Davis. The light is bright right now. That's why my eyes are a little irritated. And Shakur Stevenson also tried to fight Emmanuel Navarrete, who now is about to fight, I believe, Maxie Hughes or somebody. He's fighting somebody next. Pardon me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I'm shooting off the hip based on what I know. I'm not looking at anything in front of me. To make a long story short, Shakur Stevenson basically retired out of frustration. And I get it. I see where the frustration is at. Shakur Stevenson has a lot to become a superstar. But he could turn everything around. All of the backlash that he's receiving, he can turn it around with the right dance partner. Which leads me to Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias right now is the WBA junior welterweight champion. He's another fighter that is finding it pretty hard to land a decent opponent. The only fighter that raised his hand to try to fight Subriel Matias was Teofimo Lopez. But we know, due to the politics of boxing, PBC is not going to take a chance and put Subriel Matias against Teofimo Lopez, knowing that that's a fight he may potentially lose. There's a very high chance he can lose, because PBC, I'm sure, is noticing that Subriel Matias is gaining a cult-like following, a cult-like fan base from the Puerto Rican fans, from the African American fans, and from the Mexican fans. And with that being said, Subriel Matias at the moment is currently injured, right? And in my opinion, like I said before in the past, Subriel Matias needs to be marketed against the right opponent. Sort of like Miguel Cotto when he fought Zab Judah in New York City, an African-American fighter who's brash, who knows how to talk trash. That's the fight that turned Miguel Cotto into a bona fide superstar. Enter Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is half Puerto Rican, right? And I keep mentioning race because boxing is a tribal sport when it's all said and done. Shakur Stevenson is half African American, half Puerto Rican. So for the most part, the Puerto Ricans are going to be backing Subriel Matias because he's a pure Puerto Rican. African Americans are going to be backing Shakur Stevenson. And there's some Puerto Ricans that's going to be backing Shakur Stevenson as well. Now, if Shakur Stevenson and Subriel Matias were to fight, first off, in order for that fight to happen, Shakur Stevenson would have to leave Top Rank. To my knowledge, Shakur Stevenson has one more fight on that contract with Top Rank. So if I was Shakur Stevenson's handlers, I would advise Shakur Stevenson to take one more fight with Top Rank. Just get one more fight. That's it. It doesn't matter who it's with. They're not going to give him Lomachenko unless he resigns. So Shakur Stevenson should take one more fight, leave that contract, and go become a free agent, and then sign with PBC. A fight with Shakur Stevenson and Subriel Matias in Madison Square Garden, Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend, that will be a huge fight. If Shakur Stevenson were to show out and perform the way that I know he can, if he were to defeat Subriel Matias in impressive fashion, I'm not talking about standing in front of him, fighting him toe-to-toe, because that's not his style. But I know that Shakur Stevenson can outbox somebody without being too safety first, because we've seen it do it before in the past. So if Subriel Matias and Shakur Stevenson were to fight Madison Square Garden, and Shakur Stevenson were to beat Subriel Matias convincingly, the Puerto Rican fans will fully adopt Shakur Stevenson. They will fully adopt him. And the African American fans, they will back his play even more because he won a big fight in a green print fight. A black American and a Latino, that's green print. That's what Floyd Mayweather made famous. And Shakur Stevenson is still African American and Puerto Rican. So if he were to beat Subriel Matias, the black fan base would definitely back his play. And the Puerto Rican fan base would definitely back his play as well. Just like when Roberto Duran defeated Esteban de Jesus in that trilogy. The Puerto Rican fan base adopted Roberto Duran, who's from Panama. That fight would turn Shakur Stevenson into a superstar. That fight would put Shakur Stevenson back in conversation with guys like Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. And Subriel Matias, on the other hand, if he were to defeat Shakur Stevenson, who is a slick black fighter as well, who is brash, who we know is going to talk heavy going into that fight, that would turn Subriel Matias into an instant superstar, into a pay-per-view attraction. I'm going to go on the limb to say that Subriel Matias can be a bigger star than Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Gervonta Davis if he's marketed properly, because he already has the fan base, the Puerto Rican fan base. He has the Mexican fan base, and the African Americans are also backing Subriel Matias' play as well. So that's the fight that will be the equivalent of what Miguel Cotto had when he fought Zab Judah. Even better at that, because Shakur Stevenson is a pound-for-pound fighter. Not that Zab Judah wasn't a heck of a fighter, because he was, but going into that fight, Zab Judah already had a few losses under his belt. Shakur Stevenson is undefeated. So if Subriel Matias were to defeat Shakur Stevenson in Madison Square Garden, he will be a superstar. I mean, look at the options there. He got good fighters at 140, but none of them have the star power and the name of a Shakur Stevenson. Teofimo's on Top Rank. Devin Haney's on the zone. Gervonta Davis, I don't think he's going to fight Subriel Matias anytime soon. So Shakur Stevenson should take that chance. He should do what Pernell Whitaker did when Pernell Whitaker was the lightweight champion. He jumped up to 140 and took out the powerful punching, forgot his name, Rafael Pineda, who was a knockout artist, who had knocked out Roger Mayweather going into the Pernell Whitaker fight. I believe Shakur Stevenson needs to take that chance. Shakur Stevenson is part of the core four: Teofimo, Gervonta, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. Gervonta Davis already showed in one fight what he can do at 140. We know Gervonta Davis can be a champion at 140 again. He moved up and knocked out Mario Barrios. He already knocked out Rolly Romero, who has a belt right now. Teofimo Lopez moved up to 140 and took apart Josh Taylor. Devin Haney moved up to 140 and dominated Regis Prograis. So now it's time for Shakur Stevenson to put his name in that hat, to jump up to 140 and try to defeat one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing. Shakur Stevenson right now has a stigma that he doesn't like fighting punchers. If he goes in there with Subriel Matias and beats Subriel Matias, he will put a stop to that whole stigma that he doesn't like fighting punchers. And boxing has a tricky way of forgetting the past with one big performance. One big performance, one big win over a fighter like Subriel Matias, and Shakur Stevenson's name is right back up there in conversation with the rest of the guys from the Core Four. Because I'm not going to call them the Four Kings no more, because there's only one Four Kings. Duran, Hagler, Leonard, Hearns. So I'm going to call these guys the Core Four. Shakur Stevenson versus Subriel Matias is a fight that we need as boxing fans, and that's also a fight that both of those competitors need to boost their profile and their careers. So with that being said, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Low knows boxing because Low really knows boxing. I'm out.